So, have you ever wanted to write a screenplay, but you're not exactly sure where to start? Well, I got good news for you. That's what we're going to be talking about today on. Before I get into all the creativeness of writing a screenplay, I want to give you some free advice. Keep your first script simple. I remember back in film school during pitch days, there were people who would get up there and pitch these big, elaborate, multi-million dollar movies. And odds are, if that's your first screenplay, it's not going to happen. So if it's a short or a feature, keep it simple. So the first thing you're going to need to do is learn formatting. And to do that, you're going to want to use a screenwriting software. Now, I know you might be thinking, I have, Microsoft Word or another type of Word program. I don't need a screenwriting program. Well, no, you're wrong. Because if your script isn't properly formatted, nobody is going to read it because you're unprofessional. Now, there are a lot of great screenwriting softwares out there. The most popular one is Final Draft. Now, I used Final Draft for years, but there's a huge problem with it. It costs a lot of money. So what I recommend is this amazing free software called Adobe Story. Now, Adobe Story has a lot of cool things going for it. Like, number one, it is 100% free. Even if you don't have Creative Cloud, you could download Adobe Story for free. And here's the other thing that's amazing about Adobe Story. It stores all of your scripts online. So if your computer crashes, you don't gotta worry because it's safely secured on the internet. Another really cool thing Adobe Story does is it has a script scheduling software where you can take your script scene by scene and schedule it. I will do a completely different video talking about that in the future, but now let's get on to the fun stuff. Okay, so you learned to keep your script simple. You've got your screenwriting software. Now it's time to get on to the fun stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do when writing your screenplay is grab a pen and paper and do a crude outline. Writer's block is the most painful thing you will ever experience as a writer. Now, one of the things that frustrates me most is when I'm watching a movie or a TV show and there's a writer and you see them sitting at their computer on a program and the cursor's just blinking at them and they're trying to write something. I'm going to tell you right now, you are never going to write something if you just jump onto your computer and try to write it. That is completely false. What you're going to want to do is do a paper and pen outline first. By doing a paper and pen outline, you're able to get all your basic ideas of the script down onto something tangible. Then you could keep coming back and working on that outline till you think it's good enough to go on to the next step that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so your pen and paper outline is done. The next thing you're going to want to do is write a character bio. Character bios are a lot of fun. It makes the characters in your script a little bit more real. What I like to put in mine is my character's age, their hobbies, hopes and dreams, and do they have a secret? By adding little things like this to your characters, they're going to be so much more real when you're ready to write your script. You've got your crude paper and pen outline done. You've got your character profile done. What you're going to want to do next is get some index cards, thumbtacks, and a bulletin board. This is where, for me, the real fun comes in writing a script. What I like to do is do a second outline by writing a scene on an index card. I always put the scene number on top. Then on the index card, some basic stuff that's going to happen within that scene. Then I stick that index card onto a bulletin board with a white thumbtack. I'll be explaining why a white thumbtack in a few seconds. So I outlined the entire script with index cards onto a bulletin board. I like to go back over the bulletin board, look at certain scenes and think, you know what, that could be a lot better. So I remove that index card, rewrite it, and put a different color thumbtack. That way I know it represents the second version of that scene. But more often than not, the thumbtacks, completely change. So, as you can tell by watching this video, I am not comfortable in front of the camera. I like being behind the camera way more, and I forgot how to end this segment of the video. So, I like to use a white thumbtack first in the index card to represent the first draft of that scene. Then I like to use a blue thumbtack to represent the second draft of that scene. Then I use a green thumbtack to represent the third draft of the scene. And then the more I go on, the more different, colored thumbtacks that I use. So that's how I end the paper and pen outline version of this video. Let's go on to the next one. So one other little thing I like to do with my bulletin board is this. If there's something I want to add to a scene, but it's not enough to completely change the index card, what I like to do is write it on a sticky note and then stick that right onto the index card for that scene. So that way I know there's a little bit more I want to add to that scene. Okay, so I record my sound separately, then merge it in Premiere, and I was having a lot of sound issues with the end of the video. So you've got your paper and pen outline done, you've got your character bios done, your bulletin board is covered with index cards, multicolored thumbtacks, and sticky notes. The next thing you're going to want to do is take all those index cards, sticky notes, and write another paper and pen outline. Why do you got to do all this outlining? Well, like I said, writer's block absolutely sucks. It is painful and demoralizing. But by doing all of this outlining, when you actually write your script, it's just add water when you're baking a cake. Now, I'm not saying this is the only way to write a screenplay. All I'm saying is this is how I like to write my screenplays. So if you like this video and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button, and if you want to add anything or have a question you want to ask me, please put it in the comments.